recognizes the gentleman from Nevada, Mr. Horsford.
Thank you, Chairman Rogers, and to the ranking member, Secretary Austin, Chairman Brown. It's good to see you again, and General Brown, congratulations on a very well-deserved appointment, and I look forward to continuing our work together. Chairman Brown, this year's budget request enables the U.S. to plan, train, and exercise alongside our allies and partners worldwide. Last week, a new survey from Gallup found that the United States is no longer viewed as the most influential global power in Africa, having been surpassed by China. This comes as China is Africa's biggest trading partner and continues to increase its investment in the continent. We know that the U.S. is the partner of choice for many of these countries. How does this budget allow us to re-engage with nations who are caught choosing between us and the PRC, and what more can we be doing in this regard?
Well, the way this budget helps us is how we invest in our readiness, how we are able to work in our exercise program, and our ability to engage with the various nations, not only Africa, but around the world. And as you said, we are the nation of choice in many cases. For those nations that share our values, we're able to work very closely with them. That's something that we've got to continue to engage and stay engaged. And this is where AFRICOM, in particular, is working, having talked to General Langley on this topic here several times over the course of the past several weeks.
Thank you. And Secretary Austin, how important is it to increase our competitive defense activities with our allies and our partners? And what direct benefits will this have on our defense industrial base?
How important is it to increase our activity with allies and partners? It's fundamental to our strategy, sir. As you take a look at our defense strategy, you know, our strengthening our relationships with allies and partners is fundamental to that. And you've seen us do that, not only in the European theater, but also, most important, in the Indo-Pacific as well. If you take a look at the numbers of countries that we strengthen our relationship with, I think it's really impressive. And in some cases, we've created a generational capability that I think will add significant value to deterrence going forward. AUKUS is one of those things that I'm talking about. So.
Thank you. Secretary Austin, as you know, my district includes Creech Air Force Base, Hawthorne Army Depot, and Nellis Air Force Base. I'm happy to see that there are investments in the construction, maintenance, and cleanup of military housing and the department's commitment to resilient and healthy defense communities. But sometimes in rural communities that are often lacking basic services, including housing. So how is the department applying that commitment to rural bases in particular, like the ones in my district, to ensure that our service members and their families have the resources that they need to carry out their important missions?
Well, all of our bases are important, and we understand that in many cases the rural areas are most challenged, and so I think it's important to all of us, the service secretaries, to make sure that they're doing the right things to apportion resources so that you know, we're taking care of our troops and taking care of our families. So that's a thing that will remain a priority for service secretaries and myself going forward, but you know, each service is a little different. So.
I'll continue to bring those priorities up and appreciate your leadership. Finally, Secretary Austin, in December, Deputy Secretary Hicks tasked offices across the department with developing plans to implement the 17 recommendations from the internal review team on racial disparities in the investigative and military justice systems. These plans of action and milestones were due to the Undersecretary for Personnel and Readiness last week. The Deputy Secretary also initiated immediate policy changes to increase service member protections. Recently, a RAND report found that black men in the Air Force junior enlisted ranks are 86% more likely than their white counterparts to face non-judicial punishment or court-martial. Secretary Austin, every day our military grows more diverse, and I believe it is critical that we support policies that ensure our forces can work as a cohesive team, and that means addressing disparities. that affect our military service members, particularly those of color. So I would like to work with you on this issue and would ask that you provide an overview on the plan of action to implement the recommendation and what immediate policy changes that will be needed.
Gentleman's
to increase
time's
service
expired.
member
Chair now recognizes